Hey gang, this week by request we're going to do Eric Clapton's Forever Man, a hit from the 80s, kind of his third part of his career. And this is a good one. It's got a nice little solo, it's got a cool little riff, and it's got some nice easy to learn chords as well. So I'm going to demo the solo in just a second. But before I do, I want to remind you that if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, if you like this video, please click the like button. And if you have any comments or suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comments below. Could be anything, or comments about this video, whatever you want to do, okay? Love to hear from you. All right, so here we go with the demo, and then after we'll go into the detailed lesson. So here's the solo right away. Okay, gang, let's go over this in some detail now. I'd like to talk about the sound first, then I'll do the solo, sort of line by line, and then we'll do the opening lick, then we'll do the chords. Okay, so that's the order in which we're going to do this one. Let's start out with the sound. Now, I find Clapton's lead tones somewhat elusive, and I have to play around a lot till I get something I'm fairly satisfied with. He has kind of a, for a strat, he's got kind of a creamy tone. Pardon the pun on that one. But he has kind of a creamy tone, and you can get that from a number of different things. I'll tell you what I did on this. I took sort of, I used the neck pickup on this. You can see that's the switch I've got it. I'm using the neck pickup. And then I used a crunch tone amp, you know, sort of like a 70s Marshall type of thing, with the gain at around 7, so a decent amount of gain. And then I have a distortion pedal that I kicked in with extremely low gain. So it's like an MXR Distortion Plus. I just have a little bit of gain on that. It just gives me a little bit more sort of a creamy sound. Let me demonstrate. So here it is without the distortion pedal. And here it is with it. Just gives me a little more edge and kind of, I don't know what it, I call it a creamy sound. There's a couple of other things that you can do with that to try and get that. And here's another thing I tried. I didn't quite like it as much, but you can go to the center pickup and then try pulling down on the tone knob. You could also do this on the neck pickup, but center pickup I found worked a little bit better. Turning down the tone knob like you would for the Clapton Woman tone, you know, using a humbucker pickup. And then no distortion pedal, but a little more gain cranked. And that's another way to kind of get that creamy sound. Anyway, whatever works for you, I would suggest experimenting around until you get something that you're satisfied with. I was reasonably satisfied with this sound, so I went for it, and that's what I've got. So what I used was neck pickup, moderate crunch tone amp with the gain reasonably high, and then a little distortion pedal with the gain set really low, just to kick in a little bit extra and sort of cream it out. All right, that's what I did. Let's do the solo now. First I'm going to do the whole solo and slowly, and then we'll go through it line by line. So here it is slowly. We're going to start out here on the first string, 15th fret, and we're going to bend that up a whole step to start. So here we go. Okay, that's the whole thing. Let's break it up into a few licks. I'm just going to kind of try to play them slowly. I'll show you where they start, and then I'll give you some color commentary on some things that you ought to try. We're going to start out here with a very Albert King sort of lick. First string, 15th fret, we're going to bend that up a whole step to start. So here we go. Okay, very classic blues. Notice that we're bending. One thing to notice about this style and the way that Clapton plays it is he's hitting a lot of those notes very hard. He's not pulling off a lot. He's not letting a note off the hook, and I think that's part of why he gets so much sustain in his, or sounds like he has so much sustain in his play, is because he's not letting those notes off the hook. So, for example, it would be easy to play something like this. But he's not doing that. Notice how I'm playing that. And that, I think, makes a world of difference when you're playing it. So anyway, here's the lick again, so you can see how that works in action. Notice the vibrato at the end as well. Okay? We're ending that note, or that lick, on the 15th on the second. Here is the second lick. Okay, one more time. Okay, I sort of exaggerated that hammer on and pull off there at the end. It should be more of a tickle. More like Santana. Okay, so we're going to start out with a little unison bend here. First finger on the 10th fret on the first string, and then on the second string we're going to play the 13th and bend that up a whole step to match the tone. Notice we're hitting those notes again. We're not playing, we're not doing that, we're playing. I think that's what I hear anyway. Okay, here's the next line. This is the longest of all the lines, and so we'll spend some time on this. Very cool line. I should say all of this is coming out of the D minor pentatonic, so all these lines should be, really understandable. So we're going to start out with these, also somewhat of a unison bend. It's not quite unison, but we're matching notes here. We're doubling. So very much like we did here, but we're going to do it now on the second and third string. So on the second string we're going to play the 10th. On the third string we're going to play the 12th. And we're going to bend that up repeatedly a whole step, like so. Like that, okay? When you've played that a sufficient number of times, and I would say listen to it, and you'll get it. I think I counted 5 once, but don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. I just play it because when I'm remembering it, it feels right. Okay. Then you play this. Okay, so we're going to start out with this little bend on the 13th whole step, and then we're going to walk down the minor pentatonic scale. And then this is a typical lick. So that's just a bend and then pull off. So we're going to bend a whole step on the 12th on the third string and then bring it down and pull off. That's the typical technique. All right, and that's it. That's the whole lick. Let's play the whole lick again one more time just so that you see it, hear it. Okay, here's the next to last lick. This I find the most difficult because the timing is tough. Okay, the tough part about that one is holding that note, that bend on the first string. So it starts out kind of typical. And now we're going to bend on the first string 13th. and hold that twice as long as we did before. And then come down to the 12th, the 10th, and then give that little tickle again. That little Santana-esque tickle. All right, here's the line again, just in case you forgot it. Okay, and then we're going to throw in one extra Albert King sort of line as at the end. And that's it. It's very similar to the first one, but you're just not doing the two bends on the 15th, you're just doing one. And there we have it. That's the solo. Let's do the opening riff now. There's a bit of a surprise, and it's the tuning. Not much of a surprise. The only difference is you got to drop the 6th string, or the thickest string, down to a D. All right, so standard tuning it would be E, A, D, G, B, E. We're just going D, A, D, G, B, and E. Okay, so it's all standard except for the 6th string. Now, you could just drop it in the very beginning and play the solo. It won't matter, right? Because the solo doesn't cover anything on the 6th string, so it's fine. The chords, as we'll see, also will work with that drop D. So you could just tune this in drop D and play the whole song and it works. Anyway, here is the riff in drop D. It makes it really simple. It's like this. That's the riff, and it's just played over it. It's an open D, and then we're playing on the 5th string, on the 5th fret of the 6th string, and then that's the 5th string open, and then we play 3rd open again, and then 3rd, and kind of hammer on and pull off repeatedly, or just kind of flutter on the 5th. I'm also palm muting just a little bit so it doesn't get out of hand on that. And that's it. You'll notice I have killed the distortion pedal. I knocked it off. And all I did to get it to clean up the sound a little bit was drop the volume knob, I don't know, to about 7 or 8 or something like that. Yours will obviously be a different volume knob, so I have to play around with that to get a nice clean sound. But anyway, that just cleans it up a little bit. Chords. The chords are super simple for this one. They're basically like this. All right, so basically what is that? It's a B flat suspended, and we'll get to the fret numbers in just a second, then a C suspended, and then a D minor. All right, so the suspended is just a regular B flat, but you take on the 2nd string, you're going to take that 3rd fret and move it to a 1st, so just drop it by 2 frets. So it's and you can just bar that all. Same shape, play the C. And here's the D minor. So you can play the D minor and kind of just, go from this bar to here, this D minor. Right, that kind of thing. The 3rd time through, the only difference is you play that D minor, and then you're going to play like a G minor 7 here. I just played on the first 4 strings. It's just 3, 3, 3, 3. Well, there you have it, gang. Eric Clapton's Forever Man. Nice little solo, cool riff, and some nice, easy to learn chords as well. Hope you enjoyed this one. Remember to leave your comments below, and we'll see you on down the road.